Hello, hello. Welcome to Kimmel'sIrishPub.com. Hopefully you're as excited as I am about football starting tomorrow. I know it started on Thursday, but tomorrow's Sunday. All the games are on. I'm going to have it set up so I got my two games on that TV. I have something on the jukebox, something over here, and then my laptop here telling me when players are getting close to the red zone so I can flip to the channels. I have DirecTV, the Sunday Ticket. I'll have that forever. I can't live without it. But I wanted to take this time and talk a little bit about some of the thought process that I use in fantasy football. So I don't want to make these videos about who's the better player, rankings. There's enough information out there about that kind of thing. I'm happy to answer any questions. If somebody wants to send me an email, Jeff@Kimmel'sIrishPub.com. You want me to evaluate trades or starting lineups or things like that, I'm more than happy to make a video about that. But without that, I have to think of other things to talk about. So here's a scenario for you, and I'll give you a little glimpse into the way that I think about certain things within fantasy football. So I'm in 2 leagues. I think I mentioned previously I was in 3. I dwindled it down. I'm only in 2 now. I'm very happy. They're great leagues, and I enjoy them a lot. In one of the leagues, and they're both keeper leagues, in one of the leagues I'm really kind of stacked, I'd say. I won the championship last year, but some of the players I have on my team, so I have Kirk Cousins and Prescott as a backup. I have David Johnson, Todd Gurley as my starting running backs, backed up by Isaiah Crowell, C.J. Anderson, and Duke Johnson, sorry. And I think I maybe have more, but they're the important ones there. I have Antonio Brown, Keenan Allen, Stephon Diggs, Willie Snead, and some receivers there, and I could go on and on, but that's all the players you really need to know. I'll put the roster in the comments below so you can look at it, but it's of multiple years building this team together. I just obviously didn't draft this team. We get a keeper. In this league you keep 3 or 4. If you keep 4 you lose your first round pick. I kept 4. I didn't pick until the last pick of the second round because I won the championship, but I did steal Isaiah Crowell. Anyway, now let's talk about this, the insight or some of the fantasy thinking that I do. For this scenario, this is not a big secret here, but I only draft 1 kicker to start off the season. I recommend you do the same as long as your team allows add drops. I think that's been out there. If you've done a little research, you've probably seen that. Only get 1 kicker and save that other roster spot to take a chance on somebody else. So for me, with that theory in mind, I targeted Adam Vinatieri. He's with the Colts. I think that he was ranked 10th on a lot of the things that I saw, which was just fine. But the main reason, and you don't know what's going to happen with luck, with him being out at least week 1, it could really stymie the offense, and he might not get as many points. But the main reason I took him was because he doesn't have a bye week until week 11. So if he is kicking well throughout the season, I don't have to replace him or use one of my add drops until week 11. And I keep those other roster spots available of running backs, receivers, tight ends, whatever is hot that week I can grab and not worry about my kicker. Now if he doesn't do so well, I'll have to replace him a little bit earlier. But anyway, other owners do this as well. And one of the other owners in my league actually picked Janikowski. Seemed like a good pick at the time. He just got put on the IR today. We are not allowed to do add drops prior to the start of this week, prior to the start of the season. We have to wait until after week 1's over to start doing add drops after the waiver wire. But you can do trades. So I thought, what if I target him? Let me go look at his roster and see what I can gain from this. I can give him my kicker. Now that would leave me without a kicker this week, but I told you my roster is. I'm pretty confident I should have a good week. But there is a risk involved. There's no guarantees, especially in fantasy football. But I could offer him my kicker, Adam Vinatieri, for his, which is Janikowski, who's obviously going to be on the IR. I would have to drop him next week and pick up another kicker. And there's a lot of kickers out there that I'd be happy with. What do I gain? So I looked at my roster. I mentioned who's on there. C.J. Anderson is my 4th running back. But he's a starter on the Denver Broncos. I don't think Booker's going to eat into a lot of his carries. Jamal Charles, I don't know. They talked about him possibly getting cut at the end of the year, or at the end of preseason, and he didn't. He's still with the team, so you don't know what's going to happen there. He could steal a lot of carries. He could become the starting running back for all we know. But as of now, it looks very good for C.J. Anderson, and I think he can contribute a lot, at least now, today. That's what I'm thinking. So what does he have on his roster? On his roster, he has Hunt. So congratulations on that one. He stole him, and you know, we saw the game he had on Thursday. That's the other thing you want to try in keeper leagues is grab those rookies, and maybe one will pan out. I think there was 5 good ones this year, and of course they went 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. But you know, then you can keep them on your roster for, you know, an extended period of time, and he can do that with Hunt. He also has Joe Mixon. So Joe Mixon, very talented running back. Now there's, you know, right now you look at it, they say Jeremy Hill's a starter, Gio Bernard is going to get in there and get his carries, and Joe Mixon. So there's just like a 3-headed monster in there. I believe, and I think a lot of people do, that Mixon has the talent to be the workhorse there, the every down back, and he will become that at some point. You know, whether it's some point this season or maybe even next season. So I do think, like, at least in the first 6 to 10 weeks, C.J. Anderson should outperform Joe Mixon. But I have Isaiah Crowell, and he could get in. Mixon could contribute as well. So I want to offer him Anna Vinatieri and C.J. Anderson for Joe Mixon and Janikowski. So I'm taking, you know, the chance on the home run with Joe Mixon, and I'm also eliminating a kicker for me in week 1, which will limit my points. So that's my theory. That's the kind of things that I look at and try and do. If I had a backup kicker, obviously I would have then easily made that offer. But without a kicker, it kind of, you know, gives me a little bit of, you know, troublesome in the fact that I won't have a kicker for week 1. But again, I wanted to share with you these little things that I think about with fantasy football instead of getting into player rankings or things like that everybody else already does. So hopefully this is helpful to you, a little bit of an insight. If you have somebody as Jano in the league and you have the same opportunity, look at your roster, see if there's something you can gain. I don't know if he's going to accept it, but I made him the offer, and I'll let you know if he does or doesn't, and if I get any comments from him on what he thought about that trade. Hopefully nobody else in the league sees this before kickoff and tries to do the same thing. But I'd be interested to hear what you think, so please put some comments in there. You know, subscribe to my channel, ring the bell, whatever, all that kind of stuff. But really about your comments, and let me know what you think. If it is a good strategy, do you think I shouldn't have offered it? Should I offer it? But they're the kind of things that I want to share with you on Kimmel'sIrishPub.com. So I'm too excited to go to sleep right now, so I might make another video. Who knows? Hopefully you're as excited as me, and I'll check in tomorrow during the football games to share some insight as well. So thanks for watching, Kimmel'sIrishPub.com.